The worst case scenario for wholesaling real estate. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, I'm going to break down the worst case scenarios for wholesaling real estate and how to overcome them. This is stuff like, what if my seller tries to back out? What if code enforcement's going after me? What if someone's trying to steal my deal? Guys, in all the scenarios, I'm going to go over some of the worst case scenarios that can happen in wholesaling real estate and how you can overcome them. Before I get into it, remember, you need to smash that like button and subscribe to get the most free value from me. Again, I'm trying to help you make over $100,000 per year in wholesaling real estate in this channel today. So like this video and subscribe, and let's break it down. So what are the worst case scenarios for wholesaling real estate? I think one of the most common ones I get asked, and probably some of the worst ones I can even think of, is, Zach, what if my seller tries to back out? And a really simple way to do this, if a seller tries to back out on you, or you get a contract and they say, oh, Zach, I don't want to sell it for anymore, think about the underlining reason why. Usually people, when they're trying to back out of a contract, it's a price issue, but if they just don't want to deal with it, or they have another wholesaler giving them a better price and they just went out of the contract, Zach, I won't close with you, you're probably going to have to do an affidavit. You're probably going to have to do an affidavit of equitable interest. I'm not a lawyer, financial advisor, or anything in this video, so I cannot give you any legal advice. Check out your states and counties' local regulations for it and see if it's good. Consult a lawyer, obviously, on this one. But this comes down to putting a piece of paper with the public records in the clerk of the court stating that I have an equitable interest in this property and I am ready and willing to close on this property. And if you are, then you can record it. This is very important. Before you do this, make sure you go to the title company and actually drop off your earnest money deposit. Make sure there's a paper trail. So why I always say this, and this is going to be an answer to a lot of the solutions and issues we have here, is if someone tries to, let's say this person puts on the market, they have a signed contract and we have the EMD, legally in a lot of places, they can't close or they can't get clear title on the transaction, which will make you the person who gets the deal. Again, it's a lot more complicated than that. Sometimes a lawyer can actually just pay you out on your equitable interest for the property, but most of the time it's going to stop you from getting your deal stolen or a seller from closing a deal behind your back if you have a legally signed contract. So make sure, again, with a lawyer, financial advisor, or anyone like this, please have them help you with your state's laws and regulations. I know Florida very well, but still I'm going to contact a lawyer if I have to do one. Next here is, because I used to be a bandit sign kid back in the day, I was literally obsessed with bandit signs. I did so well with it. But what if code enforcement is starting to go after you and trying to charge you thousands of dollars for code violations? Number one thing is, if code enforcement asks you for your information, don't give it to them. They have no right to it. Again, the one thing I can tell you is I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but code enforcement officers are not police officers, okay? They're honestly employees of the city, and it's like saying if the parking authority person tells you to halt, stop while you're walking. I mean, they're a city employee, but they're not a police officer. They have no right to stop you. So just think it like that. Again, I'm not a legal advisor. This is not legal advice. This is just a little opinion. So that being said, if code enforcement calls you and they ask for your information, ask them if they're code enforcement. Most of the time, they will not lie to you. And if they do, then they're definitely lying and they can get in trouble for it. Last tip I can say, if a code enforcement does call you, just say you're answering the phone for the person who has the bandit signs, and they will not ask you any more questions, and they'll get out of there. Number 3 here, what if you have an insane seller or a very scary seller? What if you have a crazy seller? The one thing I do, and sometimes on appointments I did back in the day, is if I have a seller that seems kind of off the rocker a little, what I would do is actually search them on like mugshot.com or just look up the arrest records with their names. Sometimes, I'm saying sometimes, has been on like 2 occasions, I found some crazy stuff doing that. And just for your own safety, just think of worst case scenario. Make sure if you're going on physical appointments, you look up some of your seller's stuff so you know what you're getting into. Number 4 here, what if a cash buyer tries to steal your deal? This is very close to what we do in the first one. If the seller tries to back out, this is why that $100 earnest money deposit is so important. It will give you a paper trail showing that you have the rightful equitable interest in this property, which will protect you so much. So it's very important you actually do this. Very important they get that earnest money deposit in, get everything in the title with the title company, and then record at the recording department, at the clerk of the court, of an affidavit of equitable interest. Again, please seek legal counsel before you do that. Next one, which is very similar to what I do with the cash buyer here. What if a wholesaler tries to steal a deal from you? You still do the $100 earnest money deposit and you get an affidavit. Don't do an affidavit on every single property, but do it on the properties you know someone's trying to steal your deal. A wholesaler really can't steal your deal if you do that. A cash buyer can try to tell the seller to back out to go with me. Again, that goes back to the first thing we say is if a seller tries to back out, we have lots of protections. And another thing, if a seller does try to back out, sometimes they want some more money, and sometimes you just got to give it to them. It's a way easier. Next here is, what if you run out of money? And that's a situation a lot of wholesalers have where they run out of money for marketing. They're like, what do I do now? Do I just quit wholesaling? Like, what's the process here? And really, you shouldn't be quitting wholesaling if you run out of money. You just got to do sweat equity. When it comes to wholesaling, you can either trade your time for money or your money for time. And that's really what you got to decide. So you can do marketing strategies that don't take a lot of time, but they cost money, like direct mail. Or you do stuff that takes a lot of time, but it doesn't really cost any money at all, like door knocking, trying for dollars, cold calling for sale by owner list on Zillow. This is the thing you really got to do if you have no money at all. Next here is, what if the price is just way too high for your wholesaling real estate deal? So sometimes you get a property under contract and it's way, way, way too high and you don't know what to do. So the solution here is just to negotiate with the seller a lower price so you can still get the deal. It's called a haircut, a lot of people call it. And what I would recommend is, if you got to do it, just ask politely, say, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, I just can't do that price. I'm going to have to be at X figure on the price, and then negotiate from there. Either you can do an addendum to your contract or just write a new contract, write a new contract altogether. And it's not 100% it works all the time, but usually it will work. Number 8 here is, what if you can't find a cash buyer for a wholesaling real estate deal? The easiest way to get through this is to just cold call cash sales on listrei.com. Go to freewholesaling.com also. We'll show you exactly actually how to pull cash buyers from Facebook pretty easy for free. Those are the really good strategies to do if you can't find any cash buyers. Most of the time, you don't have a cash buyer problem. You just have a marketing for cash buyers problem. Number 9 here is, what if the seller wants too much money? Really cool solution. Either if the seller has a lot of equity or if the seller has no equity. So if the seller has a lot of equity, we can do a lot of creative financing. So overall, if the seller wants just too much for the house, really you can refer them with a realtor, and that's nice to get some money for it. But really you want to try some creative financing, do a lease option, or if they got no equity in the property, do a subject to. And again, at freewholesaling.com, quick plug, we teach it all. Last but not least here is, let's say somebody tries to sue you for wholesaling real estate. What are we going to do? In all honesty, if someone's trying to sue you for wholesaling real estate, it's not a good look. And really, if you're being completely ethical and completely legal in wholesaling real estate, you're not going to have this issue at all. People that get sued for wholesaling real estate or even arrested break the law when they're doing it. You know, there's elder abuse people do. People break into somebody's house for like a cash buyer walkthrough. I've seen it all in wholesaling real estate. And really, those are the people that get in trouble for it. So if you're concerned you're going to get sued or arrested for wholesaling real estate, don't really worry. As long as you're ethical and you are just completely legal, you have legal counsel with you, you're going to be fine for it. Just make sure you keep everything ethical and clean. If someone tries to sue you for a breach of contract or not performing a contract or not performing an assignment of contract, if you do everything right, you should be fine. Again, really you only get sued if you do an affidavit of equitable interest, if you don't have earnest money, or you have no intentions on actually buying a house, or you even have a hard money buyer lined up for buying it in worst case scenario, which you should do if you do any of those things. So that's it, guys. I mean, in freewholesaling.com, I really break down this stuff in a lot more detail. I don't have 4 hours to go over this today, but really these are just a quick little overview of the worst case scenarios, and hopefully that eased some of the stress you had for wholesaling real estate. And really to show you, if you know exactly what you're doing in wholesaling real estate, the worst case scenario, you can turn that back and make it into one of the best case scenarios on making checks in wholesaling real estate. So that's it, guys. If you got any value out of this video, remember you need to smash the like button and subscribe to get the most free value and content from me. I truly appreciate it, guys. Check out freewholesaling.com, like this video and subscribe, and have a blessed day. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Consider liking this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm so my videos can get shown to more people so I can help my mission on this channel to help you make over $100,000 in real estate wholesaling absolutely for free. If you're getting any value out of this whole channel or from the clip today, please consider subscribing to the channel. It means so much to me. Have a blessed day.